We are back, an hour with the tower and the legend that is Mr. Joe Beevers. If you could summarise how poker's changed in 25 years plus, what would the main couple of things you could say?
I think, well, there's lots of things that's changed, right? You have to remember that the first time, well, when I first started playing major tournaments, there was only one tournament in the whole world that had a 10,000 chip starting stack.
Yeah.
That was the World Series of Poker main event.
Yeah.
The weekly tournaments that I used to play at Sergeant York started with 500 points, 25 blinds. I mean, but I tell people that story, they just don't believe me. But 10,000 starting stack was the only tournament in the whole world, and that was the championship event at the World Series of Poker. These days, if you start with 10,000 chips, people are saying it's not enough. So the whole dynamic of the chip stack and the leverage in that stack has changed, and tactics have changed. The education that you can get your own personal poker coaches now. You can analyze your hands from online and live, and you can do it using all kinds of different software. You know, all the different game theory and exploitative different strategies and stuff. You know, there were things that didn't even exist. I remember, chatting to Barney one day, and Barney and Ram, and they were saying, listen, Joe, he said, if someone raises on the button and the small blind calls, don't look at your hand cards on the big blind, just 3-bet. I thought this was the craziest thing ever, right? But I started doing it, and it started working, and I started picking up chips without looking at my hand, right? And now, if someone does that these days, everyone calls it a squeeze play. They know what's going on. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, no one knew what was going on. They just think, oh, he's raising for the big blind, he must have a big hand. The small blind is kind of, it shouldn't really be there at all, and the button's raised because he had position. So all the tactics have changed. The fields have changed. They're so much bigger. The tournaments are so much longer. There's a lot more stamina involved. So, there's many, many more talented players. A much larger percentage of the players at the big tournament know what they're doing, and it's tougher.
Does that make a difference to what you play now? Do you play more cash than you do tournaments? Do you play more Omaha than you do Hold'em?
Predominantly, when I first started out, I used to play nearly all cash, and I used to use that to finance the tournaments. Obviously, things are very different for me these days. I like playing tournaments. I like playing Hold'em tournaments and pot limit Omaha tournaments. Playing cash, I definitely favour pot limit Omaha cash. But if it's not available, I don't mind some Hold'em stuff. It's just, if I can get into a good game, I don't mind what we're playing, really.
Obviously, with the Hendon Mob, and also on the Hendon Mob, do you know where you are on the England's all-time money list?
I know it's a lot lower than it used to be.
Right, we're going to I'm going to quickly run through the Hendon Mob and where they are on the Hendon Mob. Where are you?
35th.
You're 39th.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad. Barney.
29th.
Oh, I was getting a bit better than that. 22nd. Ram.
31st.
I'm actually amazed he's 24th, because I've not seen Ram Vaswani in a tournament table round playing poker in Britain for years, and he's still 24th. Shows how good he was, by the way. And Ross.
41st.
56th. You're giving him far too much credit. Far too much credit for the Hendon Mob, but it doesn't mean you're not all super players. I'm going to run through a quick fire section.
Can't guarantee quick fire answers.
Right, here we go. The best player you've ever played against.
Okay, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, there's 2 or 3, but I think it's got to be Phil Ivey. He just has an awareness at the table that people don't have. It's like he sees through you and he sees through your cards, and he does things that it's like he's a magician. He's just very, 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 very talented player.
The most fun you've ever had at poker table?
Joker's wild at Goliath.
The biggest loser.
I don't understand the question, Phil.
The biggest loser. The biggest loser. No. The most underrated poker player. I know exactly what you're going to say. The most underrated poker player.
I don't know.
I thought he was going to say Barney.
Yeah, but he's not anymore. He used to be a very underrated. Barney had lots of situations, like I was talking about previously, where he could have quite easily won massive tournaments. He lost a huge chip leader pot in the 25,000 WPT championship event against David Levy. They were like the two chip leaders. Barney had kings and he had ace king, and he hit an ace. And that pot would have given Barney average chips four-handed or something like, and they were like 30 players left, 25 players left. He had so many situations like that. But now, he's had some great success. So yeah, he would have been underrated, but not anymore.
The most over
question.
The most over there. Oh, come on, quickly. How am I not allowed to say?
The most overrated, Daniel Negreanu.
Well, there you go. Your favourite tournaments?
It's a dead heat between GU, KPT, Blackpool, and the Irish Open.
And your favourite hand?
Pocket nines.
Fantastic. Is there anything at all you would have done differently?
No. I got lucky, Phil. I got very lucky, and I'm still getting lucky.
Joe Beevers, it has been an immense pleasure to spend an hour with the Tower into the insights of just 25 to 30 years of playing this game that we absolutely love. Joe Beevers, thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Phil. Cheers, pal.